I know you're probably sick of hearing all of these plugs all the time, but there really is only one more day to get your hands on a Pesky Bird t-shirt, a Grain, or even a Barge t-shirt. The link is in the description. Let's get on with the episode. So the big news to start off our episode is we have got this space cleared. So massive thank you to Hypno and Impulse for not only selling up, but actually moving the shops. I was more than willing to do it, but look at this. We've got ourselves a pretty decent space that all we have to do now is clear and figure out what we're gonna do. And my next challenge is to protest this tree getting removed. Need a petition. So I'm gonna remove all of this stuff, but there's actually something way more important than the barge. Wow, I never thought I'd say that. Yeah, there is something a little bit more important than the barge right now, because we want to square away the turf war, the grass versus mycelium, and everyone needs somewhere to make their minigame. So as I said in last episode, I need to create a nice space for it. And you can see I've started because there's a mess. So this is by far way more important, because without this, people can't start their minigame. So it's really on me to get this going. So that's what we're gonna do at the start of today's episode. It's gonna be a bit of a grind. Don't get me wrong. I know how this is gonna go. This is not a small area. This is a lot of water. But I'm dedicated, and everyone is relying on me so that we can get this done. Alright, so, I mean, I know that was a pretty swift intro, but let's get straight into terraforming this land. This took a surprising amount of time, and don't worry, it's going to be much prettier than this. But I had a pretty interesting idea on how to cover this, half grass and half mycelium, and maybe we can use this as a bit of a prediction of fate, if you will. So, what I'm going to do, and try and keep this as fair as possible. On this side, I'm going to place a line of mycelium all the way along here, and then on the other side, I'm going to do a line of grass, and we're going to see which one beats it in probably the slowest race in history. So we're going to see what happens. So let's load up the mycelium. And I know that mycelium will get a slight head start, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it's going to take hours for this thing to spread, and probably won't make a huge difference to the overall outcome. But in theory, they should reach the middle together. Right, quickly we go to the other side and do grass. Unfortunately, in a mesa biome, the grass is not going to look very good. As you can see, it's quite dark. And just so it can be a bit more of a fair experiment, I'm going to replace some of these head start mycelium. So, there we go. Now, all we have to do is watch the slowest battle ever. Can't believe I just spent like 2 hours watching grass grow in my little cubby hole here. But check it out. Grass and mycelium, and a minigame is already in creation. What is that? What do you reckon that is, guys? That looks like some sort of football game, but then there's a bit in the... I'm not sure. Looks interesting though. But I must admit, now that there is a small minigame right there, it makes this area look a lot smaller than I initially thought. So I thought this was going to be massive, way too big for what we actually needed this to be. It looks like mycelium might have pulled just over the halfway line, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if it has. Either way, it has produced the results that I wanted. Now, I have to admit, this area is extremely ugly at the moment, but me and Scar are going to work together to try and make this look a little more pretty. Our main concern was getting a flat area ready so that people can actually start making their minigames. That was the goal. So, let's talk about my minigames. I have 2 ideas for minigames, and I don't know which one to do. So, I'm going to let you decide, because the first idea actually requires next to no input from me. It's called Kill Grian. So basically, one member of HEP and one member of the Resistance have to go head to head and kill me. But it's not like a PvP battle. No, 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 no. They have to get as creative as possible. So they could just turn up and kill me with a sword, but that wouldn't be very surprising, would it? So the idea is they have to get creative, create a machine or a trap or something that takes me by surprise, or it doesn't have to take me by surprise. They could set something up here in the Turf War battleground. I could set like an area up and say, create a machine in here that kills me, or kill me by surprise. So that's option 1, kill Grian. See, I like this idea, but the downside of this idea is that I don't actually have to do any work, you see. I don't actually have to set anything up other than some signs explaining my minigame. Idea number 2 is a skydiving minigame. So what I would do is essentially create a skydiving course of some kind and build a plane all the way up in the sky. You have to jump off it and fly down and make your way into... All that happens. Oh, thank goodness the spawn is nearby. Wow, that looks pretty. So, yeah, I mean, I just demonstrated what happens if you don't do it. But the idea is there'll be a plane in the sky. You skydive downwards and you have to skydive. You both jump at the same time. You've got to go through the rings as you go down. And it will be a points-based system. Man, this is a really long swim. But kind of therapeutic at sunset, don't you think? Sploosh. Oh, no. Mumbo's just seen my embarrassing swim. This is the swim of shame. I'm shame swimming. Don't take my stuff. Oh, dude, I had so many levels. Is he just... What is he doing? I'm right here, Mumbo. He did not just... You did not just save me, although I could use saving right now. I'm missing quite a lot of stuff, Mumbo. He just stole my rocket. Mumbo's just made off with some of my stuff. Holy moly! That is an army. My bed cubbyhole was not good for respawning in, and I can kind of see why. Okay, so you get the idea. There will be different sized holes here, and it will all be point dependent. So here's the thing. You've got to start up in the sky like this. You start on an airplane, and then you got to dive down. And I need to figure out a few things, but come on, I can do it this time. No, come on, I actually bounced in the water. I'm starting to think that Mumbo, it's okay. I'm kind of embarrassing myself in front of Mumbo now. Where are my boots for my tootsies? There they are. Okay, so one last chance. You go up to the airplane, and you've got to dive down and land in the hole. I'm not gonna make it, am I? Yes. Oh, I promise I've done this before. Watch this. Oh, he's not going to try it, is he? He's not going to try it. Oh, no. That's like the equivalent. Mum, watch this. Mum, watch this. Mum, watch this. I hurt myself. I've started to think my minigame might not end well for anyone. I don't even know where my stuff is now. Right, we're going to take off our armor and we're just going to have elytra and rockets. I've got to prove to myself that this is possible. Right. 4th time, 5th time lucky. You go up into the airplane. You jump and you've got to fly through hoops. And then you got to... No, come on! I made it through the... My body made it through the hole. I'm going to keep trying until I get this. Okay, jumping off, flying through hoops. No! To be honest, I think we can probably just call both of these games Kill Grian. Right, here we go. We've got to line this up properly. But it's got to be a sky... No! I'm not even close. I feel it. It's not lined up properly. This is the one. I feel it. Oh, come on! Let's take a little look at chat, shall we? Everything is fine. At some point, I do have to give up. But today is not that day. Oh, I should have bailed. Mumbo's just watching me. We will get this. Oh, I feel good about this one. Yes! Yes! Woo! 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 He's gonna do it. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? What? Ah. Point proven. It can be done. It just takes 20 minutes at a time. So, you know what? After doing that multiple times, I realized that the skydiving minigame is actually way more fun. It's probably going to be more of a spectacle. And I don't know. I feel like everyone can then try a skydive. Yeah, you know what? You guys don't get to choose. I changed my mind. Unless I see a million comments saying that they'd prefer Kill Grian, I think I'm going to go with the skydiving because I think we've just proven very fun. Very fun. So that's what I think we're going to do. Man, I'm going to have to build an airplane, and then I'm going to have to make loads of rings for people to get through. So there's a few problems with this, right? So what is to stop somebody skydiving off and just floating really slowly all the way through the hoops and eventually lining it up so slowly that they can't miss? Or, you know, okay, I missed, but you get my point. Basically, I'm going to test it a million times, and I'm going to say that you have to complete your skydive within 4 seconds, 3 seconds, however much it is. So if you float around and your skydive lasts longer than that amount of time, disqualified, 0 points. So there's no point. You have got to go fast. You have got to make it through, and you secure the most points by making it through this ring at the bottom. So maybe someone else can have that idea on the resistance team. Kill Impulse, kill Ren. I think there's legs on both ideas. So now I'm thinking this is actually the perfect place for my minigame. So I need to go all the way up to the build limit now. And I could probably do about 3 or 4 hoops here after I build the airplane. But I'm also wondering, should we cut out or carve out a giant square and make this go all the way to bedrock and then have water at the bottom? So there's even more craziness to this minigame. So you skydive down, you gotta go through the hoops, and then plunge to get your points. So this is where we need to build ourselves an aeroplane. But actually, it's the most insignificant part of the design. The main thing that needs to be done is all of the rings. So I need to figure out what route people want to take, because if you're going down, there's honestly not a lot of variation you can do. So let's get into a small time lapse of building a very quick aeroplane. Actually, scratch that, forget that. We can't do a time lapse. I haven't got any blocks. We need to go back to the base and get some blocks. And I think I can't even nab some quartz from the barge because I think all my stock's gone. Someone keeps buying out all of this quartz, so that's a top priority for me at the moment. I mean, actually, speaking of the barge, I haven't had a look. And also, they've taken most of it, but they took the G. They took the G. We're going to have to get that back at some point. I can't actually remember if I said Scar could have it or not, but he was being cheeky, and I don't know where it is now, but we'll have to get that G back. I'm vanishing again. I'm a ghost. I'm gone. But we have got some profits elsewhere in the barge to pick up. You know, I think next episode, I'm going to have to do I did some mining on camera. 25 diamonds, not too shabby. Right, let's go and get our blocks for this airplane. And in my case, that doesn't mean grinding for it manually. No, it means consistently trading pumpkins and melons until I have enough emeralds. So, I mean, we might do a little time lapse of this, just so you understand how much trading I have to do to get a small amount of blocks. All right, let's go. Just as I started that time lapse, it was very short, I only did it for 20 minutes, but I accidentally hit villager number 2. Honestly, I'm so devastated. Not really because I lost a villager, but because it's such a pain to move villagers around and to replace him. I can't believe it. So, I mean, this is what happened. Look, I got a recording of it. Evidence. I just accidentally, when you right-click these guys, it's very easy to press F and click at the same time, and that's what happened. And I've just revealed that my inventory button is F instead of E. Weird, I know. And if you want to see what the villager's point of view was, look, this is how terrifying is this. So, we got a loss, but we do have a bunch of quartz, which is what we actually came over here to do. So now we can actually do what we were going to do the first time round, which is start building an aeroplane that you can casually fall out of. Let's go. Vehicles are not my strong suit, including planes, cars, and tanks, and everything else. It's a miracle that I managed to make even the body of the plane, and that's exactly why it has no wings, and it shouldn't be flying at all. It's a giant floating tic-tac. But I have made the exits for it, which is probably why it looks a little bit weird. So, as you can see down there, I've created 3 rings, and I've been thinking about the design. Like, I'm not going to get this game... Oh, great, here we go. Let's go for it. It should be much easier to nail a landing in there. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I color code the different sizes of circle, and the harder the circle, the more points you get, and then there'll be multiple in the air. But having done this skydive now, I feel like I'm definitely going to have to move everything to bedrock, meaning a whole lot of mining for me, which I definitely don't have time for today. So this minigame is probably going to take me a couple of episodes, but I still got like a week to make it and perfect it and get it all looking good. So I'm pretty happy with how things have gone so far. Let's do another little run before we move on and do something else before the end of the episode, because I've got a few things that I need to take care of today. So I could choose to do this jump. Now there's obviously no other rings, but if yeah, it's so much easier to nail. Even this half a block space makes it so much easier. So we'll come back to the mini game of certain death in the next episode, because I need to take care of something at the barge. Ah, the barge. My little baby barge. You see, Impulse moved his shop, but added impulse buys here in the corner, and while people have been buying the odd thing or two, it's not ideal and people don't know where to go for this stuff. So I'm thinking, again, going back to humble beginnings, we're going to create a temporary, very small barge just so Impulse Buys has somewhere to go for the time being. This is a bit of a throwback, isn't it? This is how the barge started, as just a humble little raft. Now, the only reason that I'm making a very small barge here for now is simply because I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to utilize all of this space and expand upwards and outwards just yet. And I want to do Impulse Buys, well, some justice. I don't think it deserves just being shoved in the corner over there. So just even a small thing here would go a long way. Now, the art of the barge build is actually not too much uniform. So you'll see I've put trapdoors all the way around, and it looks like a crate. It doesn't look like a barge at all. So the trick is to replace some things and not others. So I will remove maybe 30% of these and replace them with signs. And what this does is just breaks up the barge, and also no symmetry on this one. So you see how this is just too perfect? I'm actually going to replace some of this out. It's basically a full tutorial on how to build the barge. So you'll notice that some trapdoors are missing under and others aren't. And there we go. It immediately looks a lot better. And then, of course, we need to add a few barrels to actually store the stuff. It's a very temporary solution, but it will definitely help. Temporary barge, restocked and ready to go with all of the Prismarine Impulse Buys. Now, like I said, this is temporary, but Barge Co and Partners present Impulse Buys. It's pretty simple. Now, I do need to get all of this sorted out. I did say this earlier, didn't I? See, the problem is, basically, dress me up as a banana because I am split. That's my problem. I am absolutely, my energy is split, my attention is split. I am split between so many different projects and things that I want to do that I end up doing nothing at all. So, I mean, just call me the Banana Man now. On Instagram, there's an account called Hermitcraft Quotes, and every time I say something that's a little bit weird or a little bit off or a little bit funny, I wonder, is it gonna make the quote? Wait, what if this makes the quote? It's Quoteception! Anyway, I love Hermitcraft Quotes, so shout out to them on Instagram. It's always a good laugh. A lot of the time, it's things I don't even remember saying. Right, let's get rid of all this stuff because we need our water lake back for more barge expansion in the future. I'm also realizing that the barge is becoming so much more bigger, not just physically, but also on the Hermitcraft server. Like, people love going to the barge. It's a very convenient shop. It has a lot of stock, and it is nearly always stocked with what you need. But I'm realizing that the size of it is starting to get a bit out of hand. The scale has gone a bit above and beyond. So I've been thinking about, after this whole war thing is done, I might need to make a headquarters, I might need to make a storage facility, and I certainly need to make my life a little bit easier and get myself some stock backlogged so I'm not constantly chasing. So next episode's probably going to be a bit of a big one. But like everything I seem to be doing at the moment, I'm going to have to leave this a little bit half finished. That'll do for the time being, right? I know it's a bit messy, but you know, Banana Man, I'm split. And speaking of projects that never seem to get done, my goodness, the mansion, this is where we're going to turn our attention to after this war is all over. The barge and the mansion are going to be our #1 priority. There's a lot of things we need to do. But I am afraid that is all we have time for today. I'm actually going to head over to the Upside Down so that I can AFK for 1,000,000 trillion years and end up with like 3 blocks of gold because it's a very inefficient farm. So, all there is left to say is thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check out the merch. It is the last day. It is the last day, people. Last chance. So there's a link in the description. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.